guys, what's going on? Welcome back here live at Fergs. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on Blake and Blake Sports, along with my co-host here, Mr. Blake Cabell. And we're live at Fergs, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. What do you think of the surroundings today? Is this not beautiful? I mean, we have our own bar. You can sit down, talk with us. You know, it's like two guys sitting here talking sports at a bar, and it definitely is realistic here. Come down here, talk with us on Blake and Blake Sports as we'll recap the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and around the NFL news. Big-time news at the start of the week. Vernon Hargreaves basically gets sat down, and it looks like now he's in Bruce Arians' doghouse. Yeah.
Well, if anybody knows Vernon Hargreaves, he's very energetic, he's playful, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. He's a young man. He's just – I was talking to Keith earlier, and we were talking about that. They say they have to get used to the new regime change. That's like from going 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You're going from completely relaxed to completely somebody on your SHIT all the time. So that's just something they're going to get used to. I don't think it's something to get over worried about. If you know Hargreaves, you know how he is. Like he said, I guess got to be better now. That's right. You're held accountable now. Dirk Cutter's not here. He clearly had no idea what he was doing. And Brent Grimes shine a lot of light on what coaching was like there. Like when he got benched in the Bears game, and then when he asked why, nobody could give him an answer. There was no real leadership with coaching, and that was just obvious. Like I know everybody was just mad about what he was saying and all, but you got to listen to the whole thing as a whole, and that's pretty much was your coaching staff. But these players are going to be held accountable, and Bruce Arians, like you said, if you're not here, I ain't got nothing to say. Like I said, I'm going to talk on the guys that are here, and being held accountable is something that we need here, and people that have been on Super Bowl winning teams are with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're definitely going to recap your Buccaneer news, go around the NFL, talk about the situation with Patrick Peterson. Some people saying possibly he could be traded after the 6-game suspension. Anything about McCoy, JPP, it's all out there. Again, this is Blake and Blake Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. And we've been saying it. We're keep on saying it. Not only do you have a chance to win Rays and Yankees tickets, because we're going to have some fans, as we had fans on camera. Wish we could give them some tickets, because this is what it's all about on Blake and Blake Sports and the Sports Web, the fan interaction. And of course, we're not forgetting about you. This is why we did the Restream thing, because now we're on 2 Facebook pages. We're also on YouTube and Periscope, and also in LinkedIn. So now we've got everything going. It's great quality. And, of course, we're here at a great sports bar like Fergs. But we're going to be giving away Rays and Yankees tickets here for fans getting on camera. We'll get them on camera. We'll also give you an update as the Rays last night lose to the Yankees in heartbreaking fashion. You watched the game last night. First time they're out of first place. Big-time game with Blake Snell pitching against Tanaka. I thought Snell pitched well, 12 Ks. He just didn't get the run support the last outing.
I mean, it's just that's a game. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Hopefully they use. Anytime you take a loss, you got to get something from it. Hopefully the Rays can learn from this loss. It's close loss, because they couldn't obviously close it out in the end when he needed to.
Sure.
I heard somebody say just like the Bucs can't close, but I'm not gonna go all that. I said the Bucs didn't win 90 games last year when everybody expected you to do nothing.
True.
But I expect the Rays to bounce back. I think this team is very resilient. They're very self-motivated. That's the scary part. They're self-motivated.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to prove to anybody.
So we'll be recap. We'll talk about that if you want to, about the Rays' loss. We'll give you an update of today's game, but definitely want to focus on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talked about Vernon Hargreaves. The story also was Sean Bunting, who, controversial second-round pick, small school, and Jamal Dean, both of those guys at this point getting first-team starts. Are you surprised by that this early, or do you think it's a good thing for both of those players to get those starts, because most likely this could be your future backfield with your secondary, right?
Yeah, Arians or Bowles have no loyalties to anybody, because they're all new to here. So for them to put their guys in, I'm saying their guys because they drafted them.
Sure.
Those are technically really their only guys besides Dayon Buchanan and the other Cardinals that we signed, and the ones on the coaching staff. But to piggyback on what you're saying is, It's important to try to get those guys as much familiarity as you can early. Like I said, there's no pads, there's no helmets, so it's all mental reps, and football's won from the neck up. And if you want me to speak on Sean Bunty, yes, it's from a small school. A lot of players have come out of that school, and we talked about this before. Central Michigan doesn't play like Powder Puff University. They do play Michigan, Michigan State.
Right.
I mean, you just have to think they're in Central Michigan, so that means you play other Michigan teams, because that's a rivalry thing. So they did play big schools, and Bunting still gave up no passing touchdowns his entire 2018 season. But the thing I like about Bunting, he kind of reminds me a little of myself. He always trying to make a turnover, no matter where it is. If you're away from the ball, you're trying to pull it out. If you're running down a player, you're trying to create a turnover. I think he had like multiple turnovers in the season, like some astronomical number of turnovers that he created. Kind of remind me of Bears' old Charles Tillman with the punch, creating turnovers. And if you can constantly do that and get the ball back for your offense, that's something we haven't had here in quite some time. If you could lack in sacks and getting pressures, you got to find another way to get the offense the ball back.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you need guys like that. They're going to be ball hawks. They're going to be on the ball. What do you see with Jamal Dean? Because I don't know if we ever got your scouting report on him.
A lot of I had Dean on my board.
You did?
Yeah, I did have Jamal Dean on my board.
Okay, so go ahead and expound on why you had him on the board, because what you hear is, great size, much like Carlton Davis from Auburn, although he has better speed, 4.3. Even with the knee injury, still ran a 4.3. Is that what you see with Dean? What do you see? Why did you have him on the board in the first place for the Bucs?
I think it was the same reason why the Bucs picked him up. Familiarity with Carlton Davis.
Sure.
So I don't know if a lot of people know that when you come to these teams, you come to these states and places you've never been, you don't know anybody. and all they pretty much do is just put you with people that's in your same tax bracket and try to find you places to live. But I'm sure he hooked up with Carlton Davis when he got here, so he's comfortable coming here and get a little familiar where he's supposed to go practice and how things operate down here in Florida. But he is a big kid and he has speed. His only real issue was the knees, and it seems like that's been fine so far. It don't look like we're gonna, unless he comes out and blows everybody away and starts from day one, which is a possibility. But
sure,
you have to be seen. Yeah, they haven't put on pads and tackle.
That's a big thing. Everybody's getting all excited about Vernon Hargreaves not playing. And
shorts and T-shirts.
Right. Is it a big deal at this point? Or to me, I think it kind of shows, and what you're watching right now is Blake and Blake Sports here live on Bucs Report. Of course, different streaming options, 2 Facebook pages, 1 YouTube, Periscope. But what it shows to me is that basically Bruce Arians, this coaching staff, is not going to put up with the nonsense that was here in previous coaching staffs. They're going to get the most out of these players. If they don't get the most out of these players, then they're going to bend. They're going to be sat on the bench. And it doesn't matter if you're a former first-round pick, you're an undrafted free agent, you have to come to the table. You have to do what you need to do for this team. You have to produce, and if you don't, you're going to bench. You're going to be sit. You're going to sit.
Yeah, it's definitely. Like I said, it's not. I'm not going to get overhyped on it. Coaches do this all the time with players.
I like it. A lot of people got upset about it. I love it. I think it's needed. I think it's been needed the last 5 years. I think Dirk Cutter coming in wasn't a disciplinarian. He was more of a player's coach.
Yes, man.
Right.
That's what Cutter was. Yes, man.
More relaxed, and that's why you had the situations with the locker room with the Deshaun Jackson and players not necessarily playing up to their potential.
Yep, and I agree with you, Peter. Being held accountable is definitely important. And I know people might compare this to the Austin Seferian-Jenkins things. This way too different. Coming to practice drunk and not knowing what's going on is way different than Hargreaves screwing around. That's just what Hargreaves, he's just screwing around, and he sent him home, get focused, because that's what they need to do. And I'm not worried about Hargreaves, because last year he came out ready to play last year. Sadly, he went out week 1 playing great all preseason and playing great in the first game. Sad he went out week. I really wanted to see his year last year, but I guess we get to see it this year. But I know he's been working. I'm not really concerned about that at all, especially his work ethic. He's been working. He's got a lot to prove. He's got to get that bus title off of him, and I know he wants that bus title off of him because he's from here. He's one of our homegrown players. His dad's a coach and coached him, and I know he's got a lot to live up to this season. Yeah,
got a lot to live up to, and we're here live at Fergs on Central Avenue. What a beautiful breeze. It's not hot. It's better to
perfect.
sit at the bar here on our bar stool.
All I need is a Guinness.
We may work on it. Definitely get down here live at Fergs, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. And we're going to be doing this every Saturday. And again, the big time announcement, we're going to be out here for live shows during the Bucs road games, watch parties, pre-half, and also post-game shows with Bucs Report staff and contributors of the Sports Web. So it will definitely be a great thing to be involved with. And again, we're on live streaming platforms. Let's get some comments. Jeremiah says, Lamar Lake, that kid has a lot of charisma. I agree.
Yeah, he does.
That's a new blood right there. He's going to take your job if you don't show up on time next time. I'm just joking. Let's see here. Love the show. Mike says, happy Saturday, guys. I'm loving the multi-streaming going on. Love it, too. Sitton says, I love the show. Go Bucs. Philip says, it's about damn time. We want players who play, go hard, or go home. We're coming to fire those cannons, ride or die.
That's right.
And then Jeremiah says, because Hargraves is too undersized and he's injury prone. Now, Arians has kind of spoke about this in the offseason. A lot of people say that Hargraves is a bust, and he kind of defended him and said, look, the player has been injured. You really don't know what you're getting out of him. Plus, to me, he's finally being put into a system that's going to work, man-to-man coverage, which is what he worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that work. That's what I was just saying earlier. Everybody saw. You saw a difference last year. You're letting an apple be. I'm gonna keep saying this. You're letting an apple be an apple. A man coverage corner play man coverage and press on defensive backs. You're not asking an apple to be an orange. Off play, off cover, off zone coverage where he's not familiar with playing.
Right.
Not what his strength is, and then getting beat with no pass rush. So I mean, you left your corners pretty much out to dry last season. Oh. And the answer to what I was looking for earlier with Bunting's turnover, he had 5 turnovers in the last 4 games, plus 2 forced fumbles.
He has a nose for the football. You got to have that. I know there is a corner who did a lot of that, and that was Charles Tillman. For the Bears. I mean, he had a technique, right? Yeah. He had a technique where he would try to get the ball away. He was always around the football. Not the fastest, maybe not the most athletic, but he just has it. Yep. Right? And you have to have that on this football team. And
he understands the importance of getting offense back there. That's more points.
Right.
And the defense can get off and get a rest.
Plus, he's a big corner. He's physical. You look at the scouting report, and that's all we're going off of. We're not out there at camp, but we get some reports, and we shared some of those, and we'll get out there when training camp starts. I can guarantee you we'll be out there covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, we're live at Fergs on Central Avenue, home Bucs Report, the Sports Web, and Blake Sports every Saturday. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. Let's go out to the texting line here. Jeremiah says, Keith says Blake has that insight. You definitely have that insight.
I do.
We
bring looking at the coaching staff. There's a couple more people on here I know.
Oh yeah, really? Go ahead, share it.
I'm very familiar with Mr. Cody Grimm is on the coaching staff.
Okay, you used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a safety.
He was actually decent.
Right.
He kept getting hurt.
Right.
His father was coaching for the Redskins for years.
Russ Grimm.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that's cool. It's now that he's doing coaching.
Lineage. I can't say it. Yeah. Lineage is in his family. So Philip Schwegler says my 2 favorite guys. And who is the DB coach for the Bucs? Who is the DB coach for the Bucs?
Give me a second. There's so many people on that staff.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean,
because you have passing coordinators.
Yep.
What was the question?
Yep.
Who was the what?
Who is the DB coach for the Bucs?
The DB coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, we're here live on Blake Sports, and there are a lot.
There's a lot of coaches.
There's a lot of coaches here on this staff, and for me right now, it all comes down to Bruce Arians. It comes down to Todd Bowles, and then after that, you go from there, and I think you're good with both of those coaches because they have the experience. Arians is proven. Todd Bowles is definitely proven. Somebody says, name our starting linebackers 3-4 defense. Well, I think 2 of those linebackers are going to be Levante David and Devin White. Now, the others, Remains to be seen. I think we could definitely have a conversation of Kevin Ross, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
so it's a big-time coaching staff. I mean, you have Antoine Randall, who's a special assistant.
There's a lot.
Please, because look, you know, there's some people out there that don't know.
There's a lot.
Right.
But when you hear all these names, these are all coaches, and it's not.
Go ahead and give them to them.
Okay, we'll start with the top. Big BA, Bruce
Arians. There you go.
And then second, assistant head coach and running game coordinator is Harold Godwin.
Right, which a lot of people think he coaches the offensive line, and he will have some say, but he is not
they're going together.
Right.
They're both in the same.
Right, exactly.
Of course, you got Todd Bowles. I'm going to start calling him TB. I like that.
Yeah.
You got BA and TB.
Yeah, there you go. BA, TB.
Yeah, Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, there you go.
Keith Armstrong, special teams coordinator.
Who coached with Atlanta for 10 years, so that should help, although, you know, having Matt Bryant definitely helped him out too, but we'll see.
And that's probably part of why the rumors were having Matt Bryant might come.
Right.
It's all about familiarity.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And you got fans in the background there cheering, so we appreciate that.
Then it breaks down to these specialty coaches.
Sure.
Defensive quality control coach Tim Atkins.
Okay.
Specialist coach Chris Benoit. Inside linebackers coach.
Bono? Bono?
We'll get it right one of these days. We'll get it
he
right.
used to be a kicker in the NFL.
Yep.
Chris Bono. Bono, yeah.
Inside linebackers coach Mike Caldwell.
Okay, he played also in the NFL.
Assistant to the head coach Mike Chirico.
Okay.
Quarterbacks coach Clyde Christensen.
Who's
a lot of people familiar with him.
Right, with Tony Dungy.
Actually,
absolutely.
One of the guys that worked with me in my unit. Well, of course, he's much older. He's in his 60s now. He was a sports trainer, and he said him and Clyde Christensen, he said, are very familiar with each other.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Tight ends coach Rick Christabel?
Yeah, Christabel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, of course, Larry Foote, everybody knows outside linebacker.
Larry Foote played for the Cardinals, of course, and also the Steelers. Pretty good linebacker.
Kevin Garver.
Okay.
Offensive line coach Joe Gilbert.
Joe Gilbert is the offensive line coach, who I missed last night, but that's okay. Joe Gilbert.
And then what I mentioned earlier, defensive special teams assistant
Cody Graham. There you go.
Assistant strength and conditioning. Here you go, your females. Meryl, how do you pronounce her last name?
Maral Jedivar, I believe. So
assistant special team coach Amos Jones. Remember, I told you there's a lot of coaches on this.
Sure.
Speed and conditioning coach.
Are you writing all this down now? Because if you're out there right now tuning in to Blake and Blake Sports, I want to make sure that you know every coach that's on the staff. Because we know, we just trying to let you know that we also know. Go ahead.
Assistant defensive line coach Lori Locust.
Okay.
The other female.
Right, which was in the AAF at the time. Yep.
Running backs coach Todd McNair. I'm sure they're going to be working close together.
Sure. Absolutely.
Head strength and conditioning coach Anthony Piroli.
Yep, Piroli.
Offensive assistant Antoine Randall. Everybody
there you go. You know him. Do you know him?
Yep.
He played for the Steelers.
Safeties coach. See, we got safeties coach Nick Rapone.
Yep.
Defensive line coach Casey Rogers.
Yep.
Officiating consultant Larry Rose.
There you go. Officiating consultant. That should help out.
Yep. Cornerbacks coach Kevin Ross.
Who we mentioned, absolutely.
Assistant strength and conditioning is Michael Skikachi.
These names are difficult to pronounce.
I'm going to get them right. Offensive quality control. That's John Van Dam.
Not to be confused with Rob Van Dam or John Claude Van Dam. There you go.
No relation.
No relation.
Assistant
that we know of.
Assistant strength and conditioning coach Chad Wade, and that is finally it.
Sure. There you go. So there's all your coaches. There will be a quiz afterwards. We're live here on Blake and Blake Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. So there you go. Kevin Ross is your cornerbacks coach, and of course with Casey Rogers or Joe Gilbert is your offensive line coach, and Casey Rogers is your defensive line coach.
A lot of coaches, and that's not even including the old vets that's going to be helpful.
Right. And to me, what this basically puts out there is not only are you looking at developing your players, because we can name all the coaches and be funny about it, but really what it is, you're developing your coach. You're developing these players, which is what the Bucs haven't had in the past. And we talked about it, coming into it when Bruce Arians had his press conference. He wanted to have two separate practices. You're having that. You're having your first and your second string, your top reserves, and then the other players are on the other field who necessarily. So nobody's standing around at that point. Everybody's getting coaching. That's what it's all about. Go ahead and speak about that. I mean, this is kind of something that you haven't seen in Tampa Bay, but now you're going to get a chance to look at here. And I believe, in my opinion, this is going to help develop those players coming up in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to go into details on what Peter's talking about. And anybody, like Derek Jones, people who've played football before understand the practice format. And if you played before, you understand how it works. Everybody breaks out once you do warm-ups, and you go to your position coaches, and you guys work on your techniques and your drills. And then you try to work, if it's a certain game plan, your specialist coach, or we'll just use, for example, if you're a linebacker, you go with your linebackers coach. And then you work on your techniques for the drill. You'll go through, get warmed up, and you'll go through all that. And then you come together with your defensive line, and you guys run the whole drill together, and then ultimately at the end, that's when you run the whole unit, where you run your defense versus the offense, and vice versa. The offense line, they'll all do drills together, singularity drills. They'll all work together as a core group, and then they'll all come together in the end and go offense versus defense.
Do me a favor, grab that sign in the back, because I didn't get a chance to really put it out there on camera. Yeah, look at that. You got Sam Ash Music, 95 years of your musical needs. No, is it? It really is. About as old as you and me.
Yep.
So there you go. 923 McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater. It's Sam Ash Music. Proud supporter of Bucs Report, the Sports Web, and of course, a lot of equipment here. You've got all this stuff out here. Just definitely want to read some of the text messages, not only on Bucs Report, but also on some other platforms here. Mike says, XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck recently made a statement stating he would prefer it if the XFL did not test for marijuana, as he is very pro-marijuana. That being said, if a player is an upcoming NFL free agent in 2020 and the XFL elects not to test for marijuana, does that serve as leverage when trying to get players to their league, considering nearly 90% of the league smokes weed? That is a great question. Mike Tackett, you always bring it here on Blake and Blake Sports from Ocala. It's something that I definitely think that other leagues are going to look at, especially the XFL. Being in competition, they're not only going to be able to stretch the draft process, but also with marijuana not testing for it, because there are a lot of studies out there that say marijuana helps concussions out. What do you say?
I've never been a smoker. I've never been interested in smoking, but I plan. I mean, cigarettes or that. I mean, everybody when you were young, you tried it out or whatever. But I've never been into that. But for a lot of people that I know, military and sports, it does help them, calm them down. Some people get a lot of anxiety, PTSD. Some people have sleep apnea, and I've known people that smoke that, and it helps them deal with their issues, and that's fine. And I think also it's a good direction, because the longevity of it, ultimately it's going to be legalized in somewhat form.
Sure.
Maybe not recreational all along, but definitely medical here coming soon all over the United States. And to piggyback on what was the fan's name that said that?
Mike Tackett.
Mike
from Ocala. He's great. He always comes on here on Saturdays, brings some great questions, does it every night.
That's
I
like
do
Dean.
too.
It's like Johnny Dean.
The professor,
the
Johnny
professor.
Dean, not Jamal Dean, who you confused. They're not related.
Not related.
They could.
That we know of.
Hopefully Jamal is as smart as Johnny. But go ahead.
And it is leverage.
Right.
So, like the players, his name escapes my mind. The defensive tackle from the Dallas Cowboys that went on social media and basically admitted he wanted to smoke weed rather than play in the NFL.
That was David Irving. Yes, Irving.
So a guy like Irving can come out and play in this league, which I'm sure they've already reached out to him.
Sure.
And this would be like you said, a closer for some people. Like, I can't play in the league because I'm suspended. Well, the NFL, so I can play in the XFL. Of course, you're probably not going to make as much money playing over there, but you are playing and you are getting a paycheck and you're still smoking weed. So
sure.
I mean, all the boxes are checked.
Right, and they've got a plan. It seems like I don't know what the safety issue, what the rules are going to be, but knowing Vince McMahon, the last couple years, having Oliver Luck in place for this, and then being a Tampa team, and I definitely think we're going to cover the XFL team here. We're going to have something to say possibly.
Did you ever tell them we might be covering the Tornadoes as well?
Oh, I was going to leave that out. I was going to leave that for a surprise. But we'll see what we're going to do here in the future. Just stick with us here on Blake and Blake Sports, the Sports Web, and, of course, Bucs Report. Jim says name the starting linebackers. We went through that. Two of those are going to be Devin White, Shaq Barrett, I definitely think is going to be one of those linebackers.
See, I hate that when the 3-4. When you say linebackers, to me the outside guys aren't really linebackers. They're just defensive ends,
right?
Me. And that's why Levante David has yet to make the Pro. Did he make the Pro Bowl once? Did he actually make it?
I believe he did.
Did he once?
I think he did.
Because that's the reason why he gets
I'm not sure if
snubbed.
I'm not sure if he did.
Yeah.
I know he's not got his just due, but he's definitely one of the underrated players.
Well, that's the reason why he doesn't get it, because he doesn't play pass rusher, and the edge guys are getting.
But when he did under Greg Schiano's defense, he absolutely could get after the passer.
And if
I think they're missing that. Yeah.
But yeah, you said Shaq Barrett,
David
White, and got to be Carl Nassib.
Carl Nassib,
he doesn't have enough behind to play.
Then who are
the five?
Who are your defensive ends?
Oh, the kid that they love and that we just drafted,
Anthony Nelson.
Anthony Nelson. He's been playing really well. I don't know why.
Is William Golston in that conversation?
You beat me right to it. I don't think William Golston going to be around much longer,
right?
Unless he can really excel in this one gap system, because I seen him get blown off the ball a lot. And
I think it remains to be seen. That's what we're trying to tell you. They have a collection, and then the Gerald McCoy situation, which, let's get to that really quick, and then we'll go back to your questions, because we got a slew of them here. And the great thing about this Restream app is not only am I looking at Bucs Report, but I'm also looking at my personal page. And also, if you tune in on YouTube, you're also able to comment. I don't think there's anybody on YouTube today, so we'll scratch that off. But, with that being said, the report came out this week from Rick Stroud saying the Bucs have not gone to Gerald McCoy and have said, take a pay cut at this point or structure. This is a very, very odd situation that you really can't you wrap your head around, right? I don't understand it. Like, he's a good player. He's not a great player. He's making $13 million. Arians has called him out, although he said he could be a 3 technique. I mean, what do you think of this situation overall?
Overall, I think I've emphasized on how poorly the Buccaneers have in the past.
Are you surprised that they haven't gone to him and asked for a restructure?
It's too late now. I said you should have done when BA was hired, or Jason Light knew you were coming up. You knew you were going to come up to this issue to this year. You had to know that prior. If not, then that's poor management on whoever's behalf.
Sure.
With that being said, I'm going to pretend like they did know it was coming. So you knew this was coming. So you had to come with a solution here. It was either find a replacement and save that $13 million, or talk to McCoy firsthand. Hey, look, next year we might be getting another guy at the position. Are you willing to take a pay cut? Let me know by this deadline. If not, then I'm gonna have to do what I got to do. Or however that looks. However, they're the professionals here.
Sure.
Or at least that's what I thought. That's what they should. That's what they should have done months ago. And then you're here letting us sit up in here week after week talking about the same thing with Gerald McCoy and not knowing what's going on with the whole situation. We should have handled this freehand. Communication.
Sure.
It is the best part in any relationship.
And
communicating.
We communicate here every Saturday live at Fergs on Central Avenue, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. Sir, you're absolutely welcome on the camera anytime you like here. We're live on Blake and Blake Sports on Bucs Report. As we've got somebody here that's going to probably get on the mic here. Let's read some more text messages. Let's see. What do you think of Scotty Miller? Will he have an impact? Thanks a lot, William, for the question. Remains to be seen at this point. He's a draft pick. Right now, it looks like Rashard Perryman definitely has some chemistry with Winston and Camp, but you just don't know. What about Scotty Miller? A lot of people talk about Scotty Miller, smaller size wide receiver in the same vein as John Brown. Do you expect him to have an impact, or right now is Perryman the guy that's going to win this third wide receiving role?
Well, you're already seeing the reports come out with Perryman and Winston pairing up together pretty well now, which is good. I say, which is getting the deep balls or underneath throws. I haven't really seen anything much from Camp. We're going to get out there and I'll get to see that live and in person. But Scotty Miller, you heard what Scotty Miller said. I like Scotty Miller attitude already. I like a lot of these guys' attitudes, and that's probably why a lot of the reason why BA and Bowles and the whole crew and Light probably got these guys. They're very open to different things and are willing to change themselves to make the team better. With that being said, Scotty Miller said he's trying to emulate a lot of Adam Humphries' moves to help familiarize himself with Jameis Winston. And
interesting. But and to me, Adam Humphries didn't fit because he doesn't have what Miller possesses, and that's speed. You can't teach speed. It's greasy speed, like Mickey said to Rocky. You got to have it if you don't have it, and he definitely has it and has an opportunity to make an impact on this team. I think it's too early to tell, but right now, both of those receivers with the Bucs at this point, I think they're in good position with Perryman and also Scotty Miller.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got versatility there. Perryman's fast in the straight line type thing. Scotty Miller is more of a shifty guy underneath, which hopefully Peter's right. Speed is everything, but it's not everything either. Yeah, know how to. I mean, it's a catch-22,
right?
Because you don't have to be fast to get open. I think I mentioned before, Anquan Bolden ran a 4.7. That man was always open.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice was not the fastest guy. Michael Irvin was
4.6 or 4.7 on the 40.
Michael Irvin was not the fastest guy. They just knew how to get open.
Body control, right? You have to have it. I can position you right here. I can push you out of the camera shot.
And good hands.
But you most likely can push me because you got a little bit more weight on me, and that's why basketball players seem to always work because they have the positioning and they can position under. There's no secret to that. That's why they work in the NFL. Let's go back out here. Jim has a great question. Do coaching salaries count against the salary cap?
It does not count against the cap.
No, they don't count against the salary cap. Thanks a lot, Jim, for the question. I need to get a hat like Blake's. That is Mr. Johnny Dean. I like the hat. The hat is cool. The lady over there, we're here live at Fergs on the sidewalk. She said she likes it. So that's your number one fan right there. Blake, James said that lady right there. Does Leftwich have a two tight end formation? This is the interesting thing about this offense because people are looking at it and saying, well, they haven't had it in the past, right? Well, they haven't had the luxury of having a Cameron Brate or an O.J. Howard. So now that they have that, I think Byron Leftwich, Bruce Arians figures out a way to use the weapons. Unbelievable coaching, right? Use the weapons that you have instead of having a system and saying these players can't fit, got to get rid of them, right?
Yeah, you can't fit a square in a circle hole. So you do with the best. You work with what you got, the best of their abilities and everything, and you try to go with that, and that's how you expand your offense. Bruce Arians said it himself that. He said our offense is going to be one that changes every week depending on the matchups.
Sure.
Sounds simple, right?
It does sound simple.
So if a team is
football 101.
Yeah. So if a team has
amazing,
the team has slow linebackers, you probably want to get your backs and tight ends matched up on whatever linebackers weak in coverage and forcing them to adjust their game plan to our offense, not adjust our offense to their defensive game plan.
Right. Makes sense, right? Yeah. All right, let's see here. Johnny, does anyone really doubt the XFL would be pushing PEDs? No. I mean, Vince McMahon's past with steroids, but I do think it comes down to, really, does marijuana really enhance your game to a point where it's giving a player an edge? I think more than anything else, it's for medicinal use of players that are dealing with concussion syndromes. You don't want CTE down the road. Look, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But if it can help a player's lifespan, because you look at an NFL player's lifespan is, 53? I mean, there's a reason why players get paid millions of dollars. You have a collision, every moment on the football field. That's why I kind of doubt about JPP coming back off of that injury in 5 to 6 months because he plays in a position where you're always engaged with an offensive lineman.
Every play.
And your neck, to me, it's just not worth it. But here's a player that wants to be here. As I've said before, McCoy doesn't want to be here. We've got into before. Let's go back to the text line here. Yes, David did make the Pro Bowl.
He's right, yeah.
Blake and Blake, Tony Rossi, Ramblin' Rossi, thanks a lot for tuning in. Blake has brought his hat game. That's what Tony says.
Thank you.
The XFL was pushing the Dallas team hard. I expect him to be the version of the AAF's Orlando Apollos, of course, having Bob Stoops as the coach, bringing him out. Michael says, hey, Peter and the boys, what's up? Can't wait for this football season. Can't wait to show the haters and the doubters what we're about. Can't wait to win the NFC South. I like Michael, and I don't know if you know the story about Michael. He's visually impaired. This dude brings it, okay? You guys that tune in every night, you need to bring it like this guy. He brings it every night, and he thinks that they're going to win the NFC South. What do you say?
It's a possibility. Our division has been a history of going from worst to first, but lately it's been switching up between the Saints, Atlanta, and Carolina. I think Carolina's more on the downswing over these years until they get a quarterback replacement, which it didn't surprise me that they drafted Greer out of West Virginia. I called that a mile away, which they did pick up Will Greer.
Sure.
Because of Cam Newton's arm, that's one of the worst things that can happen to you as a quarterback.
I'm not sure if he's going to be healthy during the season.
Well, that, and then it's the question of the arm strength.
Sure.
And that was one of Cam Newton's things, the mobility and the arm strength. Once you start losing that, and then you got to start working on your accuracy, which Cam Newton isn't the best, isn't the most accurate guy. But his mobility is probably going to have to help him out if he can stay healthy. But to me, the Panthers are on a downswing. That's why the offense pretty much flows through Christian McCaffrey. So.
Yeah, and I got to definitely shout out, happy Mother's Day last week to Miss Sandra Nagel, one of my biggest fans, my mother. Say hi to everybody out there. Thanks a lot for tuning in to Blake and Blake Sports. Of course, the Sports Web, as always, saying it's the greatest sports talk show. You're awesome, you're unbelievable, and you're definitely consistent. Let's go back to Bucs Report here on the text line. Michael says, hey, Peter, I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, but I believe one versus Arians' time is up to Tampa Bay left, which will be the next Buccaneer head coach. Who do you and Blake think about it once Bruce Arians' time as a coach, which has been discussed because he is up there in years.
Right.
There have been some health problems there. I think Todd Bowles, because he definitely has the experience with the New York Jets. I think he got a raw deal. There was too much there with the Jets, and then you see the general manager getting fired this week, which we can talk about. And either Byron Leftwich. If Byron Leftwich has an offense that's explosive with all the weapons.
He won't stay a coordinator for long.
Right. So would that be, is that a guy that you, and I know we're looking into the crystal ball and we're just answering Michael's question here. Is it more, do you think they're more prone to go with Todd Bowles or more with Byron Leftwich because he could be a hot shot coordinator that most likely would get a job around the NFL?
That's a double-edged sword. Both could get offered both a head coaching job. So
you have to keep one and the other.
Yep. So
who do you keep?
That's a tough question. That lighter.
I just asked you. I put you on the spot here. I'm asking you on Blake and Blake Sports.
Ooh.
I'm putting you on the spot. That's what we do here live at Fergs.
I have to go with the savvy veteran. Somebody. Oh, they both are. Oh. I would have to say stay with Bowles. I always like defensive head coaches.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing we needed more here is defense. Our offense has been pretty much putting up points.
Sure.
Just consistency and turnovers is the only thing that's been the issue, and the inability to run, which are things that we can fix. But, yeah, I would rather have a defensive guy here.
Yeah, okay. All right, so there you go. So Todd Bowles, and I think you go with the same thing, Todd Bowles. But look, Byron Leftwich is a hot shot offensive coordinator, and he decides to turn this around, then it's certainly a possibility. Let's see here. Johnny says, my point was, Peter H. Blake, simply I doubt very much the XFL will be overly concerned with any drugs, let alone something like weed. I definitely agree with you on that. I don't think the XFL will be concerned about it, but I think they're, from their past transgressions, but they do have in WWE a anti or a wellness policy that they try to definitely follow. But I think from the standpoint of trying to get an advantage over the NFL, this would be something that they would definitely look at in the future.
It's not going to be a huge advantage,
right?
But you're going to get the guys who are suspended and stop playing because of that.
Well, Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon, David Irving is somebody that could be a party or being looked at. Definitely, I definitely think you could see that. And again, we're live here at Fergs on Central Avenue, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell on Blake and Blake Sports.
I want to give a little shout out to some fans, some new fans. James and Nadine are down here. They checking us out.
Okay.
Check us out on Sports Web. The gentleman that you guys saw earlier that I was talking to.
Okay, is he going to come on camera?
No. People get camera shots.
I don't know why. We don't bite. We we give you free tickets, and that's what we're definitely going to do today.
Rays game.
You have not been to a Rays game?
I haven't been in a Rays game or a Lightning game.
I don't understand this. I mean, we're here at Fergs. We got to get this man some Rays tickets. I tell you what, we should do a Blake and Blake Sports, maybe live from Fergs after a Rays game. But we have to go to the Rays game and then get back here and set up. Could we do that?
From that. I mean,
well, they're not in town. They're a short commute, but they're not in town today.
I feel you on that.
Oh, you're funny.
At home.
Right, exactly, if they're at home. So we'll see about trying to do that. Let's see here. I believe Bowles will be the next in line. I agree. Johnny Dean, as always, the professor Love that guy. He brings so much to this show. He does, man. Let's see here. Drew says, I'm tuning in a little late, guys, but can you touch on JPP and McCoy for me? Thank you. Well, we kind of touched on it, but we'll touch on it again. You know, report this week from Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times says that the Bucs have not come to McCoy and basically told him to restructure. So it's in limbo right now. You don't know. He hasn't showed up. He's on vacation, according to John Sable of ABC Action News. Thanks a lot, John, for coming on the Sports Web on Monday night. Appreciate it. Over 2,000 views. Tremendous on the B Live app. And, so I don't know what the situation is. And then JPP, that's got to work out for itself. Both of those situations right now seem like the Bucs are in limbo. One, with a player who doesn't seem like he wants to be here. Levante David had some comments. He was saying that McCoy wants to be here, but the business side of it, he doesn't know. And going to those comments, Levante David said the perfect thing. I can control what I can control. What I'm trying to do is be a part of this team and show the rookies this defense. McCoy has taken another stance. He has every right to do it, and it is OTAs, but the big-time date, which is what John Sable mentioned, would be June 5th coming into training camp. If he's not here, then not only is that the distraction, but also, like you said, losing money. So that's the situation at this point.
I think he's a ways, because if he gets injured, it's a disadvantage to him. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then I understand. At the end of the day, this isn't high school, this isn't college, it's a business now. So he's looking out for him and himself and his family. Really, that's ultimate, and that's what everybody's going to do. They're going to make the best choice for themselves. People aren't really going to, everybody says that, but people really ain't going to make the sacrifice for the team. People ain't going to take money out of your own pocket and your own kids' mouths to satisfy another man on a team that makes his own money. It's not going to happen.
I would just say, look, if you're complaining about, getting help on this team going forward, maybe take less, and then maybe you would get the help that you need. But, that's just, maybe that's from a fan standpoint. I understand business, but sometimes it has to be more than just business. I guess it's not like that.
I think we've learned that over time.
We have.
These teams have no loyalty to players, especially after, NBA. I think it was Del Rosen.
Sure.
When he was pissed off when he got traded to the Spurs.
Yeah.
He was loyal to that team, and they shipped him out like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to think of a recent one with the NFL. Same thing. I just think of LaDainian Thomas.
Well, you have Antonio Brown, who basically forced his way out. You had Le'Veon Bell, which was a business decision. John Clayton says he could be on the block now because Adam Gase is the new general manager. Which, by the way, the Jets situation is
looks like us with all the changing around.
No, it doesn't look like us. It looks worse.
You think so?
Absolutely.
That used to be us, switching all the time.
But you're switching after the draft, after you let the guy go and spend $100 million in free agency money. He did a great job with getting Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams and Polite.
Almost got Barr, too.
Right. And you get rid of him? After that, what do you make of this situation? It's completely toxic, and it's such a bad optic if you're a Jets fan. And they always say, just in the season. And I think there's some people who are saying, Le'Veon Bell could be on the trade block? He hasn't even played a game yet, and you're already telling he could be gone? That's unbelievable.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ran the hell out of him the first couple of games to work up his trade value and then try to trade him out. Because right now, ain't nobody going to trade for him, especially he ain't played in over a year.
I think there's somebody would trade for him, but
right now.
But for the Jets to pick up that salary, they would have to pick up that salary what he signed for, and if there's a team that's willing to trade for him. And look, I'm not saying the Bucs maybe want to do it, but there's a team out there that may want to do it that gets a running back injury, and if the Jets are willing to deal it, go for it. They just dealt Darren Lee, who was looked at in a lot of people's minds were reports of being a third-round pick, was a former for a sixth-round pick.
Pennies.
Nothing. It's a sixth-round pick, and we're live here at Fergs on Central Avenue. It's Blake and Blake Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell here, live at Fergs Sports Bar and Grill. Been around since 1992. Had some wings over there. I'm going to finish them up. We'll get off in a moment, give you an update on that race score. In fact, if you can get on your cell phone, we can get an update right now. We probably need to get a TV out here so we could have the game on, just so we would be able to see it. But again, we're live here on Blake and Blake Sports. Let's read what Johnny says. The D-line coach,
0-0, top of the third.
0-0, top of the third, of course. That includes Blake Snell going to the mound versus Tanaka. A big game, in my opinion. But, look, there's 120 games left over in the season. It's the first time the Rays have not been in first place since March 31st.
Which is fine.
Relax. It's okay. But it was a tough loss last night if you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan. So, Johnny says the D-line coach is set to take Bowles' place. Casey Rogers, I guess? Okay. I could see that, I guess. One more thing, Peter. I believe when Bruce Arians' time is up, I don't think Jason Light will be the general manager. I think the general manager will get replaced, but I'm hoping that the Bucs do win a Super Bowl in that time while they're there. Your honest opinion about the team over these next few years. Do you think a Super Bowl is in the near future? I believe so. What about it, you and Blake? I definitely think there's a chance. You have to do it right.
Has to believe, man.
Right. You have to do it not only with the draft, but also in free agency. You have to develop Jameis Winston. You have to at least have an average defense. You can't have a garbage defense that gives up 29 points. In the time that Jameis Winston has been the starting quarterback with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 26 points. Unacceptable. If you're a Bucs fan, you know the bread and butter of this team is the defense, and that bread is not getting buttered right now.
I don't even think it's getting out the bag.
I don't think it's getting anything at this point, not even any margarine. All right. Hey, Peter, never been to a Buccaneer game. I would love to go to a Bucs game, especially since we are an up-and-coming team. That's Michael. I would like to be at Raymond James Stadium as the Buccaneers are laying the smackdown. Can't wait for the near future to come. But I would love to sit in the stadium and hear them cannons. We'll see what we could do for you, Michael. I mean, I can't make any promises. I wish I could give away Bucs tickets, but who knows? Maybe down the road we'll be able to do something. Maybe we can get you out here to a watch party, which is the big announcement here during road games. Tell me how pumped up you are about this, because, look, home games, we're definitely going to have you covered. I truly believe the relationship we have with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is only going to get stronger. We'll be out there the home games that they let us. But on road games, live at Fergs, we'll be doing watch parties pre, half, and also post-game shows. Yours truly, Blake Cabell, Travis Faley, possibly Al Keck, possibly Pat Yasinskis. Guys out there that have been in the business, upcoming guys like Tampa Ray Kennedy, Philip Schwagler, Bradley Walker. I try to say his name, Joshua Omoreji. That's his name. So we'll definitely have, more people with us covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and giving you that opportunity to not only hear us talk and flap our jaws, but also, and as I always say, we kind of talk so many times, we don't listen enough. We'll get your fans' response because this is the evolution of sports talk television, all right? So, thanks, Blake and Blake. You guys are the you-know-what. You just don't have to read that, just my opinion. We appreciate your opinion. Every opinion here, we absolutely agree with you on that. We just won't say it here on air.
It's no fun if we all agree.
It's not.
It's no fun.
We disagree all the time, and it seems like but we do it respectfully. We're not going to call each other names.
There's no need to take it personal.
Right. No need at all. So we talked about the McCoy situation. We talked about JPP and Vernon Hargraves.
Did we finish talking about that? Because you were answering a question. We kind of got sidetracked.
Okay.
He said catch him up about McCoy.
Yeah, catch him up about. I don't know. I'm not sure about the JPP situation because
it's really him.
I take it at his word, right? Here's a guy that's been through a lot.
He knows his body.
Right. He knows his own body. Will he come back in 5 to 6 months? I think as a team, you have to plan on he's not going to be there. And even if he's there, he's not going to be 100%.
No. I'm almost scared for him.
Right.
To be quite honest.
Right.
It's not that serious.
No.
It's not that serious to me. And I respect the hell out of Mike Tomlin when was it Ike Hilliard or was it that went up to Denver and they found out he had sickle cell and he told him to sit out the game. He was like, this game don't mean that much to me over your life.
Sure.
And he found out when he lost 3 organs the last time he played up in Denver in a Mile High, and that's when he found out he had sickle cell. And you say, this game don't mean that much.
And who was that again?
I can't, it's escaping. I want to say Ike Hilliard, but I don't think it's Ike. I think it was one of the safeties that was a defensive player. I'll get it later.
Yeah.
But and I'm just bringing that up because we're talking about people's lives. Remember, at the end of the day, they're players, but they're people.
Sure.
They have lives. They have families. That just made me think about JPP situation because that's life-changing stuff, man.
Yeah, but here's a guy that just wants to continue to go. Football is his life, and he loves football. The Bucs are not going to – I mean, they could – I mean, that's been talked about. They could try to get that $7 million if he's put on that non-active list at this point. Right. But I truly believe – he was the most consistent defensive lineman last year. You want to keep a good relationship. If you can get anything out of him to help this defensive line out. I know we could go back and say they should have drafted Josh Allen, but let's talk about Devin White a little bit. Devin White's been, I get it, it's OTAs. Ryan Clark. Right. ESPN broadcaster, does a pretty damn good job.
He does good.
Yes,
does. Too.
Yeah.
I too.
Yeah, sure.
You said Devin White. Talk about him.
Yeah, Devin White. I mean, interception, second pass. Of course, there are people out there. Well, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Because Jameis Winston's throwing an interception. Again.
And these camps can afford both. You want to
get the interceptions out of the way. Here, and then it's just amazing to me. But Devin White intercepting, talk about Devin White. It seems like from all reports that he's coming off as a leader. He's making all the calls. Of course, once again, it is OTAs. Take it for what it's worth, but it's always impressive to see a guy come in, even if he's a rookie, act like he's a veteran.
Like I said, a lot of people watch me pre-draft process. I wasn't big on White. And like I said, it wasn't because it wasn't the player. It was at the pick. It was the number of the pick.
Right.
I have no problem with him, especially learning more about him. I'm starting to love him more and more now. Like I said, what's done is done. I wasn't happy about the 3 DBs either. What's done is done. I have to go with it now.
Sure.
With that being said, Devin White seems like he's had a great attitude. He said it was a destiny to be here because his brother was a Buccaneer fan before he passed away, and it reminds him of a lot of brings back good memories of him. His brother, being with the team now, and he says it was destined to be here. And it sounds like a guy, and White sounds like a guy who wants to be here longer, i.e., unlike Quan Alexander, which I told everybody silently over and over that
you did.
He wasn't going to be here.
He did. He came on the camera and on Blake and Blake Sports, and he said, "Look, this guy wants to do more." And to me, good. Do more in San Francisco. You're 78 broken tackles.
You running money. At least you got paid.
Yeah, you got paid. Good for you. I don't even know if he's going to come back and be an impact. I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the first game versus the Bucs at Ray J.
I hope not, because I don't really feel like hearing that crap over and over. I hate that because that's the only thing they're going to talk about the whole week.
Listen to you.
I just don't want to hear that.
I love
crap.
it.
I just want to focus on getting this win and getting the hell out of there.
Yeah,
that's all I want to focus on.
Agree. The Blake and Blake show is bringing it. We do, Mr. Professor Johnny Dean. Michael says, "Hey Peter, I've listened to all these analysis and all the reporters talk about how the Bucs have no shot in our division. Well, I think the thing that people should realize is we got the second best coach in the division. I don't think the Falcons or Panthers coach is better than ours. Sean Payton is better than Bruce, but not much better. What do you think about the coaching ranks in our division? I think Bruce and Sean Payton are the two best coaches in that division." Once again, Michael, I definitely think you're on track here. I think Quinn is a good coach, but with Dirk Cutter being the offensive coordinator now, I expect that offense to take a little step back, even though they have the weapons there. And to me, Ron Rivera is a decent coach. He's probably been a lot better than he's given credit for. But if you have a quarterback like Cam Newton who's not able to throw the ball over 30 yards, that's a problem. I don't know, Will Grier, he could be a superstar rookie.
Yeah, he's mobile.
Right, he's mobile. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. So I would agree with that. Would you agree with that analysis by Michael? Once again, bringing in here on Blake and Blake Sports.
You talking about is Arians the second best?
Yeah.
That was the statement?
Yeah.
If you're going on Arians' past history, then yes, because he's been to just as many Super Bowls as everybody else in the division.
Sure.
Granted, he lost in the whim and the dying moments of the game, which was a hell of a Super Bowl, by the way. Here in Tampa, I might add as well. If you're adding off that, I can't give him any credit for nothing he's done yet because story hasn't been written yet here in Tampa Bay.
I mean, you look at his record, 49-30-1.
Turning a bad team around.
Right. He turned the Colts around. He turned the Cardinals around. We talked about it. Turning the Cardinals around from a 5-11 team to a 10-6 team. Is it possible here? I definitely think it is because the talent is. Is it a tough division? Absolutely. But
The
the
toughest
NFC
division
West,
to me-
NFC West was a tough division with San Francisco and Seattle and LA.
I got tired of people saying every all the time, oh, this, that, and Winston and that. I'm like, do you realize we have every quarterback in our division has been at the Super Bowl minus Jameis Winston?
Sure.
And I think at least 2 out of the 3 have been league MVP, if not all 3 of them. Have they?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean,
Breeze was.
Brian had some years there. Cam Newton, definitely 50
Cam
touchdowns.
Newton was
Yeah.
when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they all been at the Super Bowl.
Sure.
All maybe have been league MVPs.
Yeah.
This
It's a
is the
tough
toughest
division. I mean, it's not. It's
This
not
is
a powder puff.
To be honest, this is the division Tom Brady should be playing in.
This is
Not
the
that-
AL East right now for the Rays.
I
That's
say
what it is.
Playing the Buttercup. What's that? AFC North.
AFC East. You got the
AFC East
you got the
playing
Jets. You got the
Jets,
Bills and the
Bills
Dolphins.
And the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed 6 wins, maybe 5.
Hot garbage.
And it's been, and he still got to win his playoff games, but the division's been trash since he got there.
Yeah, agree. I agree with you on that. I remember that. Johnny says the playoff game, absolutely correct. PGA Championship today without Tiger. Are you surprised by that? We're not.
Tiger's still partying in Orlando.
It would have been nice to see him in the PGA Championship. People say he came back. Yeah, he definitely came back and won the Masters. Can it be, in your opinion, do you think it's a consistent thing? I know the dog is so cool. We got to get that dog on camera. That's awesome. I'm serious. You think I'm joking? The dog right here, he's got the dog on the bicycle.
And
now
he's chilling, too.
He's chilling. I couldn't have Alexander on that bicycle.
Here he came back, Peter.
He came back. Okay, let's see. Go on that camera right there. Let's see. What's your dog's name? Go ahead. What's your dog's name? Emmy.
You got anything there,
What do you have to say?
You're not from Men in Black, right?
No. That's what he looks like right now. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, you got to get a picture of that.
That's so awesome.
Now, this is what you get here on the Evolution.
This is live television.
Yeah, this is live television right now. Oh, you got the look at this. You got the dog.
Oh yeah, get the mic in
You
there.
got something to say?
He says he's looking at those wings.
Pretty much.
He's looking at those wings right now. We're here live
Thank
on
you, guys.
Blake and Blake Sports. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. I'm here with Peter Blake along with Blake Cowell. I love this. I absolutely love this setup. Thank you, Mark Ferguson. Thank you, Zeb. Thank you
he's
to
taking
all the
care of us,
management
man.
team. Yeah. And this is what I envision. You know, we're just guys
Working
sitting
it
there.
up.
Yeah.
Get the TV back in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. More things to come. And then, of course, we got you covered. As I'm looking right now with the dog talking on the mic here. This is so funny. This is so funny. All right. Let's go here. Let's see. Let's go back to the text line here. Hey, Peter, I know that they play San Francisco the first regular season game of the year, but how about the bowl prediction? Bucs and the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, it's got to stay healthy, but he definitely gives the 49ers an opportunity. But again, we talk about that division overall, and you have the LA Rams, who were in the Super Bowl last year with Jared Goff and Sean McVay. The Cardinals, to me, are going to be somewhat exciting with Kyler Murray, but you're losing Peterson, and we can talk about that. In fact, we can come back and talk about that.
Yeah.
We come back and talk about that the second hour of Blake and Blake Sports, or the Sports Web, whatever you want to call it. Here, we'll talk about that. We're going to take a little break here. But then again, and then you also have Seattle, which has Russell Wilson and two more dogs walking.
Ways to win,
Yes.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll has had nothing but success since he's came to the
Amazing.
NFL, and he lives by a system. He found his quarterback, because remember, once Wilson was projected to be the backup.
Sure.
And then he beat, I can't remember the quarterback's name, the backup from Green Bay that got that big money to go to Seattle.
Seneca Wallace, or no, it wasn't Seneca. It was.
Played a big game out in Green Bay. Got a big contract.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah. He got paid big time money and did absolutely nothing. Wilson beat him in camp as a third round pick.
Dean, you know that one. Hurry up and type it in there. I can't think of it.
Yeah, I can't either, man. It's just seeing the bikes come by, seeing the dogs come by. I mean, and this is the great thing about Fergs. Not only the atmosphere, but they cater to dogs. They actually have homemade dog food here. I feel bad. Alexander's at home. The reason why Alexander's at home, and we brought him out here, he would be very vocal and would interrupt the whole show. We may bring him out here again. We'll figure something out here. I love my dog, but My dog is 70 pounds of energy. He is 2 years old, and he's definitely 2 years old. He would be running around here, tearing up stuff, getting into garbage and everything else, but I love that dog. That dog right there was awesome. What was his name again? The dog that was on the bike?
I'm going to go with Pugsley.
And we're live at Fergs on Central Avenue. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell here, chopping it up here as we always do on Bucs Report. Different platforms today. Let's see here. We'll read the texts.
Somebody said spider.
Yeah. Somebody is texting in from YouTube. Thanks a lot. They say, "What's up, Spider? What's going on, Mr. Roger Shoe? How you doing?" We'll go on to Bucs Report line here. Bruce Arians came out of retirement. One reason to win a Super Bowl. I doubt he leaves without one. Agree? I agree with that.
I like that attitude.
I like that attitude. Retirement. I think the Browns win that division.
Got to win first before I even talking about that.
I mean,
Browns
a lot of people jumping to that conclusion, but to look at the talent, you got OBJ, you have Baker Mayfield, you have Landry there, you have the young tight end, and then the defensive
side. I've seen this before with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
When they had Nadia Mouse.
Is it deja vu?
Yeah, it doesn't really work in NFL like that when you get a whole bunch of free agents. It works in basketball because the intangibles are less. There's 11 guys.
Matt Flynn is the guy.
Dean got it. I knew he would. Somebody else got it. Was it Dean?
Somebody. No. It was William Romer.
Thank you, William.
I think he's a new watcher here. Thanks a lot for watching Blake and Blake Sports here live at Fergs on Central Avenue. Go ahead.
What were we talking about?
Oh, I don't know what you were talking about. You've seen this before with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
the dream team.
When they called it the dream team,
old Vince Young,
and it turned into Team Nightmare when they signed all those free agents and then didn't do nothing. I think they finished. I told my brother they was going to finish with like 7 wins and they ended up finishing with 7 and 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I see fans out here. The fans are out here right now. Just want to tell you that we'll be giving away Yankees and Rays tickets here eventually. So if you want to get on camera, we'll have the Sports Web on here, the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell. So if you want to come out here, get on the camera. We'll come back here in about 15, 20 minutes. Okay. Okay. We'll definitely love to get you on camera. Definitely, all right? And again, this is the fan interaction here. We call this the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Even if it's Blake and Blake Sports, it's still the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Blake Cabell. And again, the announcement is not only are we going to be giving away tickets today, Rays and Yankees, but also we will be doing watch parties during the Tampa Bay Buccaneer season for the road games.
I'll be here for 2 of them. I'll be at the games then.
Where are you going to be for those 2 games?
I'll probably be in Nashville and I'll be in Duval.
Okay, Duval. Yep. Duval County. There you go. All right, we'll read some more texts and then we'll get off here. We'll take a rest, get some drinks, maybe some wings, and then we'll come back. Well, you get a Guinness. I'll be sticking with the Mountain Dew. That's what I do here. Will you shut up and be quiet? All right, let's see here. I think Tiger is first to Masters victory and not qualify for the championship. Johnny the Professor again.
Know that had to feel so good.
He won the Masters. I mean, it would be nice for him to be in line for the PGA Championship and other majors, but for him to win the Masters, it's a great story. Has he come back to where he's so dominating that golf needs it, right? We talk about it because if Tiger's not in it, we don't talk about it. So
I mean, it's the truth.
The sport of golf needs Tiger Woods in it.
Well.
Right. They need it, absolutely.
Hopefully he's back consistently.
Yes, agree. But it doesn't seem like he is this weekend as he missed the cut.
He's partying right now.
He is. Fido, somebody says Flynn, yeah. Still no Sports Web, no Sports Don. You want to say something to
Sean? What's that?
Sean the Sports Don? He's not there. I mean, he hasn't come back. Do you want to? I can edit this up, and you want to call him out. Call him out. Sean the Sports Don, where you at? We've given you these, and there's a lady, your number 1 fan right there, blowing you kisses. We've given you these invitations. Thank you. We appreciate it. We've given you these invitations. We've asked you to come out, sit with us here, do sports talk shows.
Calling him out.
Why can't you? No, I'm definitely calling you out, Sean the Sports Don. What are you going to do about it? Come on the Sports Web. Come on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
2 chairs here, bud.
Yeah. We got plenty for you. We'll feed you. We got wings here. We got Sports Talk talk, and we got the atmosphere and the platform with our 61,000 following on Facebook. So that's enough. You want to say anything to Sean the Sports Don up there? Because I'm going to edit this up, put it on YouTube, throw it at him.
Yeah, get over here, Sean.
Yeah, that's right. Get over here. Get over here. But I don't think you can get away with that hat that you're wearing, man. You look like
Am I all right? Am I rocking it well?
Smooth hand Luke over
BA,
there. Yeah.
Bruce Arians?
No, I got that going on there. We got to get those. Okay. Let's see. A lot of people talking about the Browns going to the Super Bowl. If they had Bruce Arians as their head coach with the talent they do have, then maybe they could win a Super Bowl. But they have a coach who has never been a head coach, so that's why they will not win the Super Bowl. They will probably win the AFC North. But then again, you still got the Steelers. I think the Buccaneers have a better shot at winning their division than the Browns do. What do you guys think? Good question again, Michael. Michael again bringing it. Michael Caldwell.
That's some heavy confidence because, like I just said, all of our quarterbacks have been to the Super Bowl and at least one league MVP. Maybe I know definitely 2 out of the 3. I'm not sure if it's 3 out of the 3.
Right.
But that's definitely a huge statement saying we're going to win the division over the Browns.
Sure.
Because AFC North has always been tough with that cold weather and then those historic teams with the Ravens and the Steelers.
Sure.
And you never know with those divisional matchups. You never know, period, with divisional matchups because don't nobody know you better than your teams in your division.
Sure.
They're very
I mean, you have the Steelers there. A lot of people saying they're dead. They have J.J. Smith-Schuster there who had 100 catches last year.
James Conner.
Right, yeah, James Conner. Yeah, they find a way to do it. They find a way with their defense getting better. You have the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. I think that's the question, right? Second-year quarterback development. You have all the tendencies from a defensive coordinator standpoint, and then you have the Bengals, new coach. Could they? So it's a tough division. Is it as tough as the NFC South? I would say no.
Whoa,
I would say no.
Just with the quarterback position alone, you can't even compare that.
Yeah.
Big Ben's old.
Yeah, Big Ben is old, but he just got a new contract extension, so he's going to be motivated. All right, so we'll take a couple more questions here, and then we will get off. Somebody says, Roger says, Sean, the sports chicken, not a Don, more like a Dun.
Or a Jester.
Oh, and the sign fell down there. That is Sam Ash Music. Definitely get out there for your musical needs. 95 years of your musical needs. 923 McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater. If you're liking the shirts here, Ultimate Logo, 1812. Main Street, Dunedin. Tell them the Sports Web sent you. And, of course, here live at Fergs, the official home of the Sports Web, Blake and Blake Sports. Again, I'm your host.
Home.
It is. We are home
Bucs
here.
Report.
Home base, Bucs Report, 60,000. What do you want on a Saturday afternoon? You said that you wanted a sports talk show with fan interaction. We're giving you that every Saturday. All you have to do is tune in. That's all you have to do. Is just tune in here. Keep on watching on the Sports Web and on Blake and Blake Sports. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Cabell. Take some more comments, and then we will end the day here. Take a break, eat some wings, and then get some fans on here. See if we can give away some Rays and Yankee fans. Yep. Maybe have some management on. Pimp these wings out. Look at these wings, man. Still got 3. Still got 3 left, so those 3 are mine. If you came down here locally, 1320 Central Avenue, you'd be able to have some wings. If you're not, tough luck. Sorry. We're on Blake and Blake Sports on Bucs Report. All right. Love the new set, guys. Looking good. Thank you very much, Johnny. We appreciate it. Browns should win the division. Steelers are a mess right now, and the Ravens are rebuilding. See, I don't think the Steelers are a mess. I'll tell you why.
They got who they want in there.
They got who they want. They're going to be without that drama, a Le'Veon Bell, and also a Mr. Big Chest or Mr. Big Stuff or whatever the hell his name is. Blonde Hulk Hogan.
That guy.
Antonio Brown. Blake straight pimpin'. Blake needs a Kangol. Sean the Sports Duck.
Get me one.
Sean the Sports Duck. We're just going to go ahead and have a whole show of coming up with nicknames for Sean the Sports Don until you get out here.
What you should do? He said you should give away Rays tickets to the one that comes up with the best name for Sean the Sports Don.
I'll tell you what, that's what we're going to go ahead and do.
Send those to the Bucs Report.
Yes.
On social media.
We're going to do that. Hey, Peter, I think our slogan for this year, instead of no risk it, no biscuit, should be boots to asses. Well, they already took that. I
like that. I don't like that.
They already
that's what's
took that with the wrestling. Yeah, somebody says quack. So there you go, quack. And we will definitely go ahead and end it here on Blake and Blake Sports. Final thoughts.
I'm loving the accountability, so keep that going, BA. I love the accountability here and the culture change. That's actually a culture change. I know we talk about it, but that is actually a culture change.
Okay.
And I'm glad to have that here.
All right, agree, and definitely come on back. We'll take a little break here, rest our voices, eat some wings. If you want to get out here, 1320 Central Avenue in St. Pete, it's Blake and Blake Sports. For Blake Cabell, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We'll see you later.